Welcome to another tutorial video in the FxFactory podcast series. In this tutorial, I'd like to go over some of the great transitions included in FxFactory Pro, specifically the dissolves. I'm in Final Cut Pro, but all of these transitions work in Final Cut Express as well. In a quick look through Effects, Video Transitions, NI Transitions, we find Blocks Dissolve, Edge Dissolve, Organic Dissolve, Text Dissolve, and Tile Dissolve. But we're going to focus on two others, Blur Dissolve and Glow Dissolve. I'm sure we all understand the concept of a dissolve, and we've used Final Cut Pro's built-in cross-dissolve transition many times to fade one clip out and another clip in while they are briefly superimposed in the middle. Blur Dissolve is a great transition I use often to add some spice to the standard fade in, fade out. I'll drag this transition to a cut in my timeline. I'll go ahead and adjust the duration from a full second to about a half second. A double click on this Blur Dissolve gets our familiar FxFactory Pro interface. I always like to go through the presets and see what they offer. Some different options manipulating blur and exposure. I like this Hollywood News preset, and I'm going to tweak some of the parameters to my liking. Blur Dissolve uses two different blurs, a directional blur, which essentially stretches the picture while it blurs, sometimes giving the illusion of motion, and a standard Gaussian blur. The peak blur settings adjust the amount of blur at the peak or right at the middle of the transition. I can adjust the angle of my directional blur, and the Gaussian blur does a great job of smoothing out the directional blur at its peak. Additionally, I have a peak exposure setting that allows me to lighten or darken the clips in the transition as they blur across the dissolve. The curve setting adjusts the geometry of the curve of the transition. As always, you can read up on any of these settings by checking the online help document. I like the look of this transition, so I'll save it as a preset. Another cool transition is the Glow Dissolve. It does what it says, it peaks with a glow that reveals the next clip. I like the Sun Glow preset, but I'll tweak it a little bit. Source luminance, softness, radius, and strength are all standard glow-related settings that affect which parts of the image will glow and how strong and big the glow will be. Check out our videos in the Glow Stravaganza series for in-depth coverage of these types of settings. Color adds a bit of color to the glow, in this case, a yellow hue. But if I check Use Original Colors, the glow will be derived from the colors in the image. Raising the saturation value will create a stronger connection between the glow and the pixels it originates from. It's not really a sun glow anymore since I took the yellow out of the picture, so let's save this as another preset. FxFactory Pro offers a huge selection of great plugins, and if you don't have them yet, I suggest you go try them out at noiseindustries.com.